Have you ever noticed, Mr. John Kurtz, that the YouTube always starts at 59 seconds?
No, but I don't really use the countdown.
You don't do the countdown in and out? I just like the jazzy music. It just sort of puts me in a zen-like mood.
Yeah.
I want to welcome everybody to another edition of the Sit Down on the College Football Mafia Network. I'm your host, Nathan Bomber Brown. With me is the great John Kurtz. He have the Open for Business. It's a newsletter, right?
Yeah, we're going with that. That's what the show is called as well now. So the Open for Business
excellent.
show, podcast, and newsletter all in one.
Well, that's great. I'm sorry I got that name wrong. I apologize.
Hey, no problem.
Moen put it in the bump, and I honestly for some reason I didn't get it into the description, so I'm sorry about that.
No, you're good. It's a recent change there, trying to rebrand a little bit.
So while everybody's watching, and I've got 1,000 people watching us right now. No, there's like 8. That I actually did. I don't know. This is a reveal. Moen's going to be mad at me. I interviewed Cody Campbell this morning. Have you spoken to him?
I have spoken to him. I have not done an on-camera interview with him yet, but I have spoken to him. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to drop a bunch of quotes and stuff. I don't want to lead too much into it, but I just want to tell everybody in Big Ten land, everything you're worried about him coming in and trying to fix college sports has nothing to do with instant change. I'm just letting you know. He said he's got a 10 to 12-year view of sports media contracts and everything else, how that works. And that's not been the narrative since he popped onto the national stage. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, look, when you're in power, if you're the Big Ten or the SEC, I think you're going to view anybody that's trying to come shake things up and potentially take some of the power away from you as a negative thing, and it's going to cause a lot of knee-jerk reaction. And I know that Cody would say, like, hey, I'm trying to do something for the betterment of the sport entirely. But I think the ultimate goal, like if you're going to enforce the Sports Broadcasting Act the way that he wants it to be enforced.
Well, wait a second. No, he doesn't want to enforce anything. He just wants to change legislation so that they could, if they wanted to, collectivize sports media. He's not trying to have the federal government dictate anything, though.
Right, correct. Semantics, I suppose, in the wording. What he wants to do.
Okay.
What he wants to do. Look, man, I'm a Big 12 guy. I'm with you. I'm not trying to throw Cody under the bus.
I'm not saying that.
The point is, what he wants to do with the Sports Broadcasting Act would take some level of power away from the Big Ten and the SEC. Like right now, they have the best contracts in college football, far and away, better than anybody else in terms of their TV deals. So if you were to spread it out, which makes everybody more money, I think it does in some ways probably elevate some of the schools of the Big 12 ilk a little bit more than where they're at right now, perhaps create a little bit more equity. And I think the world that he wants to ultimately create would be something with a little more centralized. If you were going to have like somebody over, I think he would tell you we should have
he did say that. That's a quote. Yes, he does want, some sort of a central.
Like a commissioner of college football is what I'm going.
Or a commission even. I think he would be okay with. I don't think he needs all the power in one person's hand necessarily.
Correct.
Yeah.
Doing something like that would mean that Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti are not the two biggest power brokers in the sport. And so
fair enough.
This is a long way to say that, the point Big Ten country is going to be a little threatened because right now, like they have it good. Why would you want anything to change right now if you're the Big Ten or the SEC?
Oh no, I get it. Yeah, I understand. I guess let me put it a different way. You say it's semantics. I would just say this: just changing the speeding law from 55 to 80 didn't force people to go 80 miles an hour. There is nothing forcing anybody to do anything if you just change a law that says you could if you add the reason if you wanted to.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm just answering your question. I thought you asked why, what about
I did. I want your feedback. I appreciate that. Yeah. We can both hear the same thing and interpret it different ways. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're okay. I'm confused where you want me to go, man. I thought this was, hey, what's going on with the Big Ten piece of this? I think the Big Ten piece of this is they feel threatened because somebody is trying to change things. They have the ultimate grapple on the power right now because they have won back-to-back national championships. You can argue that they even have a little bit of a bump ahead of the SEC. So you've got somebody big with a lot of power, a lot of influence with the federal government. Like, people are going to see warning signs there if you're a Big Ten fan. Hey, this could threaten our power and our place in the world. So I'm with you. I think Cody's intentions are pretty pure, and like, I guess regardless of whether or not what you think about the ultimate intentions there, I think what he's trying to do would definitely make more money for everybody. There are some studies that have been, reported by Ross Dellinger that would certainly back that up. I think it would objectively make more money. It would be better for Olympic sports. It will do all the things that he is talking about. The question is, if you're the Big Ten or the SEC, like, why would you just give up this stranglehold of power that you have right now? And I think that's going to be the battle, and that's going to be the kind of the tension that you'll have in the sport for a while here, because I don't know that they're really going to budge. So how would something budge? I don't know. I guess that's up for interpretation, and then people start to wonder where that goes from here. But I'm all about, obviously, what Cody Campbell is trying to do, and I hope that we get there sooner rather than later. It'll be really interesting to see how it plays out.
And that's what I wanted, because you're better at this than I am. You have the sports experience. You're an actual journalist, and that's what I wanted, was your opinion. That's what I was trying to list. So I appreciate you going through that exercise with me.
Yeah.
Let's talk fun stuff. Let's talk Big 12 and the CFP. Let's just lead with that. I watched it live. I know you did a live show as well. The move of Utah from, what was it, 18 to 13 was shocking to me. But it was great to see Texas Tech and BYU get at least 60% of the respect they deserve.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that it could have possibly gone better for the Big 12. To have 3 in the top 13, you have 3 Big 12 teams ahead of anybody from the ACC. Even you start looking at, like, Utah as a 2-loss team was ahead of a 2-loss SEC team in Vanderbilt. There are a number of bullet points I could give you on why I was pretty stunned by how that all played out. Texas Tech, a spot ahead of Oregon, I think is a real nod to respect. I mean, Oregon's only loss is to the number 2 team in the country, and in Indiana. And then it sounded like the committee gave Texas Tech not a total mulligan, but at least somewhat of a pass for the fact that Baron Morton didn't play in their one loss to Arizona State, which, I mean, that makes sense, right? That you would do that. But I just feel like, as a Big 12 fan, you're always cynical that's going to be that sort of benefit of the doubt would be reserved for the elite brands of the sport as opposed to teams in the Big 12. So I think that was really powerful to see what people think about Texas Tech right now. Utah, though, I mean, that is the most significant thing to me. If you're talking about getting a second team in, this has definitely opened the door. I mean, it's not a slam dunk, and I know people get excited about it and see 3 in the top 13 and like, okay, this is totally going to happen. It's no slam dunk. Utah is 13, yes, but you do have to think about there's going to be a G5 champ in front of them. There's going to be an ACC champ in front of them. So that's a little deceiving because right now all those teams are ranked below. In fact, there wasn't a G5 team in the top 25. So you got to think of them kind of as like 15, and you would need 3 teams to fall off there. And like Texas, for instance, has Georgia and Texas A&M left. If they were to split those, I think Texas is a real problem in terms of being an at-large bid stealer there. Oklahoma is another team that could be a 3-loss SEC team that could be an at-large bid stealer there. You've got some landmines, and Utah's schedule is, on one hand, is pretty easy down the home stretch, manageable. I guess I'll say that, manageable with Baylor, KU, K-State, which is good because it means, hey, good chance that you're going to win out and be sitting there at 10-2 at the end of the regular season. But also, there's nothing that's going to give you a big boost or a big pop the rest of the year. So it's no guarantee. But BYU Utah is definitely in a much better position than they would have been, and it's definitely possible that they get in. I mean, they were 17 in the AP poll. This is a totally different deal than if they were at 17 right now, and the type of chaos that you would need in front of you. And if we're talking about teams losing in front of them, I mean, it's been a chaotic year. I think it's probably been the most chaotic year since 2007 in the sport. And that's a good thing if you're hoping for teams to lose in front of you. And a lot of those teams, I think, have losses coming in front of them. Speaking of Oregon, like if you go look at Oregon's schedule, Oregon's got, I think, 3 losable games. Now, they very well could win all 3. And if they're, legitimately a top 6, 7, 8 team in the country, maybe they do win all 3. But they've got some losable games. Like, I think it's very possible that Utah could slip in that way. And with Texas Tech and BYU, if they wind up splitting a pair of games, one team wins in Lubbock, another wins in Arlington, is that possibility out there that they could both get in? Perhaps. I am a little skeptical of that because I feel like, especially if it's BYU that loses on Saturday, I do feel like there could be a pretty big fall coming, because I think a lot of people have been kind of begrudgingly putting BYU in the top 10, sort of like last year, and just waiting for a loss. And then you're going to see a big fall from grace after that. So there's a lot that could still happen. But I think the overarching point is I did not expect this much respect in the first poll. So that's much better than any alternative there. And it's opened the door, for some hope for the Big 12 being a multi-bid league.
So take yourself back. It's 2022. And you find out Texas and Oklahoma are leaving, and Kansas State's sitting there, and you're not sure where your future is going to be now. 3 years later, how do you feel about where the Big 12 is right now?
I mean, I think it's in a pretty good spot, relative, obviously, to what it looked like at the time. I mean, if you're talking about what does it look like compared to the Big 10 or the SEC, I mean, obviously nobody is in a good spot there, but I think in terms of just like positioning yourself to be the life raft for long-term survival here, things still look very good. This year, I mean, really just the last month has elevated, I think, the conference in terms of where it is perceived on the national scale. And Texas Tech is pulling a ton of weight with that. BYU is too, for sure, by winning games in Utah, by just blowing people out and being a metric darling. All that stuff is helping, but it really feels like Texas Tech has cut through the noise, and like people are respecting the amount of talent that's there because of what they did in the portal and how they're backing it up now on the field. And just to have a week like this where College Game Day is going to a Big 12 game for the second straight week, you've got the playoff committee giving you some favors, it seems, in the first batch of playoff rankings. Like, this is, I think, the best week that the Big 12 has had since it became the new Big 12, right? Minus Texas and Oklahoma. So Brett Yormark, I continue to say, I know people have some frustrations with him, and I understand that. I think he's great with the big picture stuff, obviously, with securing the TV deal, swiping the 4 corner schools, outdueling George Kliavkov, all that. That's where he excels. He may be a little more lacking in some of the day-to-day stuff, or just like running a conference, which is not what he's done, right? I mean,
right.
That's some of the trade-off in college sports. If you're going to get people in here from outside the college sports industry, they're going to have different strengths as opposed to just running the conference on a day-to-day basis. And I think there's been some learning on the job there. But, if your choice is be Oregon State or Washington State right now, or be the Big 12 and maybe live with some goofy tiebreaker issues or scheduling quirks that you don't like, I think I would certainly prefer the latter. So, yeah, I think it's been a good month and a good week for the Big 12, trending upward, and excited to see where things continue to go.
Before I ask you about BYU Texas Tech, my opinion is I think last year was wildly ACC slanted. The CFP definitely was giving more love to the ACC, even with 1 losses at Clemson and Miami. They kept BYU out, and I know you have an opinion about that. My opinion is very strong. This year, I think they've gone the opposite way. We went from a Michigan guy running the committee to now Baylor AD is running the committee. So do you think this year is it all a rubber band from last year? Because that's kind of what I think about it.
Well, especially, I mean, the individual case of Miami, I think, accentuates your point as much as anything, because, Miami was one of the biggest frustrations for me last year, how they were treated as being one of the legit last couple of teams out and like a legitimate contender for the last at-large bid, whereas BYU wasn't, when BYU, I mean, just objectively had a better resume and had a better win that came from the same conference that Miami played in, and SMU, and just did not get the same level of respect at all, which I thought was pretty silly. And now you got Miami here at 18, which, I mean, even me, I look at that and I'm like, damn,
shocking.
Really? Like,
Really?
really?
Yeah.
18? I mean, I think they're better than that. But it is what it is. I'm not really complaining too much. And yeah, I mean, Georgia Tech, like that's kind of the fate that Georgia Tech suffered for its first loss to
It
NC
did.
State. I know NC State is a lot different than Texas Tech, right? But that's kind of what I fear, the type of thing that would happen to BYU if they lose to Texas Tech this weekend is having that sort of a fall. But yeah, it was a huge fall for Georgia Tech. It felt like that was one of those teams that everybody was kind of waiting for the bottom to drop out of. Apparently the voters and the people on the committee there too. So I don't know if it's like a direct rubber band, like with the ACC versus the Big 12. I guess it's nice to think like that. It would be really nice. I think there is a danger maybe in thinking that in some ways because, well, Miami did get a really harsh treatment there. A lot of like Virginia, Louisville, and Georgia Tech are the top three teams we're talking about in the ACC right now, which to me in some ways kind of mirrors what the Big 12 was going through last year, where it was not big name brands and not teams that were expected to be very good this year. And so that carries with it a certain stigma, and you're not going to get as much benefit of the doubt with those teams, right? So it was like the same deal last year where Arizona State picked last in the Big 12, had been kind of a lost program for a handful of years before that. And then BYU, which had been a sub 500 team in the Big 12 before that, it was like, hey, those teams are up at the top of the, well, they can't be that good. This league can't be that good. I think there's some of that going on with the ACC right now, where it's like, dude, if Virginia is the best team in this conference right now, how good could the conference possibly be? And no disrespect to the Cavaliers there. Big 12 fans certainly understand that plight. But I do think there's some of that's happening right now within the ACC.
I love it. You got that nice radio voice, John. It puts me to sleep.
That's 10 years. That's 10 years of radio, man.
I know. You're the pro. Okay. Texas Tech, BYU's on the road, College game day. I mean, they're getting all of the press, and this is kind of you wish for it. And then once you get it, you kind of, whoa, wait a second. Maybe this is a mistake. What do you think about this feature game? And do you see any path to BYU winning? Because I actually can describe a path for them.
It's tough. So I've seen both BYU and Texas Tech in person this year.
You did. That's right. You did.
So having watched both of those teams, man, Texas Tech does just feel like it's on a different level, and it's really all about the defense. Texas Tech's offense, I think, is fine. I mean, with Baron Morton, like they're a good, solid offense, and particularly the thing you got to watch out for with them right now is their running game is operating at a really high level. They're third in the Big 12 and in rushing at just under 200 yards per game, and between Cameron Dickey and Jacoby Williams, like they're really getting rolling. I thought Baron Morton was even a little rusty on Saturday. I thought he had to shake some rust off early on in that game. Made some nice throws in the second half. But it's that defense. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, I mean, they lost Skylar Gill-Howard on the defensive line. Like, that's the type of loss that would just cripple almost any other Big 12 team. And it's like they keep rolling, man. I mean, I think they've got arguably the two best edge rushers in the sport, David Bailey and Romello Height. They've combined for 17 sacks. And then I don't even think they're the best players on the defense. I think Jacob Rodriguez is the best player defensively in the Big 12. I know Tech fans have been pushing this like Heisman campaign for him. I watched him on Saturday. Garrett Oakley, K-State's tight end, is covering up the ball with two hands, knows he's coming, and he still is able to punch the ball out for his second fumble.
That's pretty violent, actually. That's NFL level violence.
Yeah, I mean, he leads the country in forced fumbles with 7. Like, that defense is just, they're nasty. I mean, they have the Big 12 leader in interceptions in the secondary. I mean, and you don't even talk about the secondary because the front 7 is so damn good. So they're just really hard to move the ball against. They're the number 1 rush defense in the country too, for all the talk about pass rush. Yeah. They're only giving up 74 yards a game on the ground. K-State, I actually thought, K-State was pretty competitive for 3 quarters, and for all the crap Matt Wells gets, I actually thought he did a pretty good job of manufacturing some offense in a ground game. Like, K-State had 126 rushing yards on Tech last week, which is the most anybody's had this year. They had to use the quarterback for a lot of it. Avery Johnson had 88 yards rushing. So I think Bear Bachmeier will have to make plays with his legs if BYU is going to have a chance. And I think LJ Martin playing is a really big deal, but I do wonder how much can he give BYU, and how many carries are going to be in him in that game, because you need nothing against Preston Rex, man, but I that's going to be a tough putt. I think if you're trying to manufacture an offense with no LJ Martin and Bear Bachmeier having to do basically all of it on his own, like he can handle a lot, and he proved that against Iowa State.
I was just going to say, you just described the Iowa State game, though. Now
it did.
That was 2 weeks ago. So that was 2 weeks ago.
And it's Iowa State playing though with, they're down. They just lost another. They're down 6 starters now from their opening
yeah.
debut.
There's no joke.
They're pretty depleted, and a team trending down. Like Texas Tech is just on an entirely different level. I mean, look, if Bear does that, I mean, it's maybe we're talking about like Bear Bachmeier on the fringe of the Heisman discussion after Saturday if he goes out and beats Texas Tech, because it would be that impressive of a feat. But I guess this has kind of been a long way to say, like, I think it's tough, man. I think it's going to be tough. BYU also has had a penchant for starting slow on the road this year. And if you start slow and you get behind by multiple scores against Texas Tech, you're in trouble, because then those pass rushers are pinning their ears back. And like, that's what's happened to both Utah and K-State in the fourth quarter of those games that were competitive for 3 quarters. They did fall behind. And then it's the fourth quarter, you're down. So, you know, you got to pass. That's when the game gets blown open, because Tech just starts pinning its ears back. They make huge plays on defense, and you go from it being a 1-score game to a 3-score game, like in the snap of a finger, and they just wear you down. So that's what I wonder about. You know, I mean, I thought BYU definitely matched and exceeded Utah's physicality in the Holy War game that I was at. But Utah, as physical as they are, I mean, they got beat up in the fourth quarter by Texas Tech. So Tech's even been on another level from that. So I think Tech is favored the way they are for a reason. I think BYU, I kind of expect BYU to be competitive for like 3 quarters and see the same sort of thing play out in the fourth, in all likelihood, that we did in the Utah game. Maybe not quite to that extent, but maybe more like a 10 to 14 point Tech win after BYU hangs in there for 3 quarters.
Baron Morton's been hurt. I would say that. You're coming off 6 straight weeks of games, so they're getting tired. Jay Hill's had 2 weeks to prepare, and I would just say that you get around the edge on Texas Tech, and you can get some yards. Also, I know you mentioned their defensive backfield has picks. A lot of that's forced from the front end. BYU plays front back, so defensive backs for BYU are fantastic. So I don't know. I think it'll be interesting. It's definitely a matchup that everybody's been looking for. I had it penned at the beginning of the season, even past the Utah game. I thought this is where we'd be.
Yeah, I mean, to your point about Jay Hill's defense, like, I mean, that's Texas Tech was, I mean, they gave K-State the ball a couple of times on Saturday. Like, I think you can.
That's what I'm saying. Turnovers, yeah.
You can turn them over, and you're going to have to turn them over. And BYU's been a really opportunistic defense at creating turnovers. One of the best in the country the last 2 years in turnover margin, I know. So, like, that's going to happen. You're going to have to do that. And I think you can do that. Like, Baron Morton's not, you know, Will Hammond is really good runner. He's pretty elusive right now, especially. And Baron Morton at the end of the game, one of the last snaps that he took, he was limping off the field after Texas Tech's last touchdown that he was out for. So, like, I still don't think he's 100%. Like, I mean, you can get to him, and he's not going to be elusive, and I think you can force him into some turnovers. Like I said, I thought some balls that he threw early in the game on Saturday were a bit off. So, yeah, for sure. If BYU wants to stay in the game, I would highly suggest doing that, and I would highly suggest not falling behind 14-0 like they did in Boulder, or by 2 scores twice in the first half in Ames, because that's when you're really going to get in trouble. You're going to need a better start, I think.
I appreciate that. Yep, that's absolutely right. Okay, why don't you tell everybody about your channel and kind of what Open for Business has got going on right now?
Yeah, appreciate that. So I'm doing 2 live shows. Typically, well, I say that right now. The general rhythm is 2 live shows during the season. If there's a big game that happens on Saturday, I'll go live. College football playoff rankings on Tuesday, did a little live show. So right now it's a good time just to subscribe, click the bell, so you know when I'm going live. But lots of live streams throughout the week. You'll get some clips there too if you missed anything. And then I've got the Open for Business Big 12 newsletter, which you can sign up for at ofbnews.com. That's coming to your inbox twice a week. It's totally free. 5,400 plus Big 12 fans have subscribed already. So you can do that at ofbnews.com. You can follow me on Twitter at JL Kurtz. If you're into K-State specific content, I do the 3 Mob podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. And I should mention that for Open for Business as well. It is now on all the audio platforms where you would typically get your podcast, Spotify,
Nice.
Apple, all that stuff. So just search Open for Business or my name, John Kurtz, and it should pop up there. So a ton of ways to get content here.
He is John Kurtz, Open for Business and Big 12 insider, I would say, expert. Thank you so much for coming on and spending some time with me this evening. I'm just going to tell you, if BYU's within 10, they win this game. 10 at halftime. Just watch for that.
Well, I should throw in the caveat that, like, I mean, I've been wrong a lot, as most people I think have, about BYU this year. Like, I thought Utah would win a close game in Provo, and to be honest, I know the final score was close, but that was like one pass batted down to the end zone on 4th down away from, I think, being a rout in the 4th quarter of that
I agree
game.
with
Like
you,
BYU,
yes.
yeah, BYU like really they won that game by more than 3 points, I think.
Yeah.
So I have been very off on BYU this year. My read has not been good, and Bear Bachmeier, it's the other thing with him, man. You got a kind of transcendent talent like him. I mean, he could just be growing up before our eyes and have some sort of Herculean performance. So anyway, just throwing that in. I may well be wrong.
I have been a hater against Aaron Roderick. For 7 years, every year I hate his side to side. I hate all of his trick plays and everything else. Bear Bachmeier is the only quarterback he's ever had, and he's had 2 NFL quarterbacks now with him. Keaton Slovis is now 3. Bear Bachmeier is the only one that speaks his language. It's like the horse whisperer. So I've never seen anything like it. Bear is transcendent. I don't even know how it all works, to be honest.
But, it's crazy.
It'll be a good game, I think. Anyway, thank you so much for coming on. I really, really appreciate your time.
Yeah, anytime. Take care.
You bet. Have a great weekend. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Yeah, you too.
He is John Kurtz, Open for Business. Check him out on his website. Appreciate him spending some time with me tonight. You guys know I'm not afraid for those questions. I should have apologized at the end. I wasn't trying to catch him short about the Cody Campbell stuff. I just look. We've got an interview coming out. I spent a half hour with Cody Campbell, and he said some stuff that, yeah, maybe people can continue to twist, but as far as I'm concerned, he's answering questions. That's coming. I'm just letting everybody know. That interview, he said stuff that I've never heard him say. Now, he may have said it like in congressional committees and all, TV interviews, but I've never seen it. So we'll have to see. I kind of think I'm looking forward to that anyway. Thank you so much for joining the show tonight. Make sure you subscribe. Follow us on Twitter. I'm going to get to your questions. I'm going to file through and say hello to everybody. You guys know when I do these interviews, got to get to the people who are here. Their time is very precious. And I want to thank John again for coming on, because talk about a guy who works his tail off. John Kurtz. Let me just send him a message here. Just everybody give me 1 second. This is live TV, by the way. To get you short. I apologize about the start. You are awesome. Okay, there we go. I've sent John Kurtz a message. I really appreciate his time. Okay, so there has been some news, and there's no way I was going to get it with John. There's been some news today, though, and I wanted to get that to you guys tonight because it's a big deal. I've got time. I'm going to be here at least another half hour, maybe 45 minutes. So if you want to get a comment, for sure, make it a super chat. I'm going to change my banner because John's not with us anymore. But the news, I'm going to just give you guys some headlines, and then you guys decide kind of where we go. Okay, you guys know how I do this. I will present the news, and then I'll obviously give you my opinion about it, but then I'll be like, what do you guys think? Because there's some stuff that came out today that is pretty significant. For one thing, and this is just a rumor, I still haven't heard this confirmed, and if it's been confirmed, CBS, CNN, The Athletic, somebody post the link in the comment section. But evidently, again, I'm prefacing this. I am not 100% sure, but the word is that the Memphis coach is moving to Arkansas. That would be a huge win, in my opinion, for Arkansas. I think their coach is fantastic at Memphis, but I have not had that confirmed. So that's something that came on just in the last few hours. I am not sure. I am not 100% positive. Like I said, I just I still think it might just be one of those fan rumor things, and I admit if that happens, I was wrong. But not for my Odie Campbell and Bull interview. I would love your feedback. Okay. So yeah, that's the first thing. The next thing is, and I need to share my, let me bring this up first. So NIL numbers, we finally have official numbers. Let me share my screen. I think it's this one, Ross Dellinger, right? I think. Yes. Ross Dellinger came out, and let me get the link. So we give Ross credit because that's what we do around here. NIL Go numbers, and everybody knows how much of a fan I am of NIL Go. 1,175 deals cleared. 394 not cleared, and that's an asterisk, and I don't know what that asterisk represents, but whatever. Relatively around $10 million. 0 in arbitration, meaning nobody's filed for, a review to get it back. So whatever. Deals resolved in October cleared 21% faster than September. So I think this is what the storyline is here, is they're getting better at what they do. Right? And they should, because they're making tens of millions of dollars to do it. And they're the only ones to do it. They better get it right, and it better speed up. And this should become transactional. And if it doesn't, there's, again, big problems. But CSC not releasing deals actively under review, so we have no idea on numbers that are still out there. This is a kind of cool little report they put out. Again, posted the link. You guys go check that out. This is a false Ross Dellinger account. I don't know what you're saying, Conundrum. Unless we're talking about different. Maybe we're talking about two different things. So anyway, take that from what you will. 394 deals, and they don't highlight it for some reason, or at least, yeah, he did right here. 394 deals not cleared, $10 million, which represents about, what is that, 8%? Yeah, around 10% of the total deals have been submitted. Roughly $100 million in submitted deals, and 10 have been denied. But they're not in arbitration. So that means they got denied and they're flat. So they had to probably be resubmitted. I just, hopefully this becomes more transparent. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Okay, this is what Conundrum said. I'm glad he said that. Memphis head coach to Fayetteville came from a false Ross Dellinger account. Thank you, Conundrum. So there you go. See, that's why I qualify stuff. And I think in my Twitter replies they said big if true. Anyway, so the Memphis to, that sucks. That you got to take that from Twitter. It's not very fun, but anyways, it is what it is. So thank you, Conundrum, for clearing that up for me. And that's why I ask you guys' help, because you're the smartest social media viewers in all of social media. All 115 of you. I appreciate everybody watching tonight. Thank you so much. I am going to start at the beginning and do some shout outs, because obviously we don't normally in interviews don't have a ton of time for those. Daniel Gygax was first in the house. He said, hi, Nate and John. I guess my 8-4 prediction for West Virginia didn't work out. Hey, man, there's always time to improve, Daniel. Big Lubbock says he's first. He wasn't first, but he's always first in my heart. Good to see you, Lubbock. Texas Tech wins 35-23. Boy, everybody loves that 10.5 points. I might be totally wrong. I'm wrong all the time. Actually, no, I'm not wrong all the time. In fact, I'm wrong very little of the time. But when I am wrong, I admit it. So we'll see. We'll see. I think the injury thing, I think the 6 games in a row is not talked about enough for Texas Tech. I think the day game, which I forgot to bring up with John, although he's seen day games that Texas Tech has played at home, day game starting at 11 in the morning local. I realize people are going to be jacked up. They're going to be there, but are they going to be as loud as they're going to be in the late third and fourth quarter? No, they're not. Not at 11 a.m. in my opinion. So we'll find out. But I think that score 35-23, that is almost exact. That is just 1.5 point over the line. So, okay, we'll have to see. Buckshot Kid says, oh, hey, at the College Football Mafia. Good to see you, Buckshot Kid. Appreciate you. Clinton Moses says, Kurtz, my boy. Good to have you here, Clint. Oregon State. Are they off this week? Or they win 3 in a row, whatever it is, go Oregon State. That's all I'm saying. Conundrum, Cody Campbell's a false god. Stop being a clown and worshiping him. Are you a billionaire, Conundrum, that I'm not aware of? And if you are, man, props. And why haven't you, given me $1 million? Obviously, I'm just teasing about that. Look, Cody Campbell, you guys can all disagree, and certainly my opinion of him you don't have to agree with, but dude knows what he's talking about. He's young. You might not know these things. I looked him up for my interview. Cody Campbell, CEO, a $1 billion oil business, born in 1981. So he's 11 years, 10 plus years younger than I am. And played for Texas Tech from 2000 to 2004 under Mike Leach. So he knows football and he knows passion and college sports. Played in the NFL. Got hurt. And then he's the chairman of the board for Texas Tech University. That's a dumb guy. Whatever. I can't convince your opinion is your opinion, my opinion. That's why we come here. We share these opinions. We agree, we disagree. But this is not a guy who's screwing around with his time at all. And the interview, I think, will show some of that stuff. I'm not gonna give it all to you though, because Moen's driving on that. So we'll have to see how it's released. But I am bumping it because there's some good quotes in there, I think. Let's see here. Sean says, "Hey John, best Big 12 coverage." There you go, Sean. Thank you very much. I'm sure John Kurtz appreciates that. Yeah. Let's see. Why does Utah shock you? SPI loves Utah. Look, everything, all the metrics love Utah. Who did Utah lose to? That's where the conversation ends, as far as I'm concerned. Wrong, Kurtzy. 3 Big 12 teams in the CFP. Top 25 proves they're the weakest of the P4 conferences. I don't know where you're getting that from. Marcus Williams is a valuable member of the College Football Mafia family. Thank you so much, Marcus, for being a multi-month member of our little network here. I do appreciate it, and I know everybody else does too. All of the Big 12 teams are ranked ahead of all the ACC teams. The ACC is the weakest conference. Look, I've been saying they're the weakest of the 4 for a long time, but I think that's kind of mean. I've sort of taken a lot of that. That's flamboyant fire language that, at the end of the day, we're all just trying to do the best we can. I was admittedly shocked they didn't have one team in the top 12, though. I mean, just the straight top 12, not talking about the ACC entry or the G6 entry. I was live and I was shocked. Jose says ACC only gets one in this year, and it could be Notre Dame. Oh gosh, if only. The Big 12 to guarantee 2 and to possibly get 3 needs Notre Dame to lose one more game. Okay. Clint Moses says they lose to Texas Tech and Cincy. I disagree wholeheartedly. Expedition Greg, good to see you, Greg. Thank you for all you do for us and being another valuable member, OG member of the College Football Mafia family. Says, hey, everyone. Let's see here. I'll try to get to as many of these new ones as I can. You guys are all going back and forth, which is awesome. I absolutely love it when you guys talk. Payson Cougar fan. Payson, by the way, is about, what is it, 8 miles south of Pleasant Grove, so not far from where I'm at. Last week, BYU fans cheered for Utah. This week, Utah fans are cheering for BYU, only in the crazy Big 12. And that is true. The Big 12 is the only conference, I think, that has schools, because of the position they are emotionally, that's what I'm going to say, generally want their team to beat, to be the best to go forward. I'm not saying everybody feels like that. Rivalries matter and, hate and all this other stuff. I get it. But the Big 12 is stronger when it's united. And that's been the difference between the ACC and the Big 12. That is the biggest difference. So, Payson Cougar fan, thanks for being here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, brother. Follow me on Twitter if you're on Twitter. There you go. Conundrum says BYU plus 10.5 easy. All right, easy money. I love it. I'm not even gonna bring that. Let's see here. We'll go down and let's see. Yeah, okay. That's the last new comment. So we got a bunch of new people watching this right now. I will go back to news because I did have a couple other news and notes. If you guys have any comments you want me to read, guaranteed, make it a super chat. If you don't want to do that, just continue to feed me regular comments and I'll get to them when I can. I'm not going to go super long tonight unless you guys keep me around here. That is something. We've been doing a lot of stuff around here. Everybody's been very, very busy, trying to do everything we can to give you guys more content. And tonight I'm trying to give some time back to my wife. So I am going to be cutting this a little bit shorter. We did start earlier though too. So yeah, we'll go another 20 minutes or so. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let me see. Let me get to other news. Here's another one that I want to bring up. Again, this is Ross Dellinger, and I might have to watch for that fake Ross Dellinger account because that pisses me off. Every once in a while, everybody falls into it. You take a link and you pass the wrong one on. But so Ross says, in a new letter sent to lawmakers, Charlie Baker implores, and if you look up implores in the dictionary, he's basically begging. He's begging Congress. Begging. This is an executive begging. The NCAA is begging. I cannot say that enough times, Congress, to save their lives outright. This has never been more transparent than right this moment. This is a remarkable report. Implores Congress to grant protections to the NCAA around eligibility standards for college athletes. The courts chiseling away at the NCAA's ability to enforce eligibility rules is destabilizing and threatening college sports. I'm not going to go into the quotes. Sorry, into the actual documents because you guys can do that on your own. I'm sorry. It's a chagrin. Shake my head like, what are we doing? The NCAA just cannot. We got to start over, everybody. I know, you guys know my opinion, long-standing, but this is just stupid. Absolutely stupid. The president of the NCAA is begging Congress that they need all the help they can get because of their own incompetence. And yes, I'm using that very strong language. A lot of people, send me DMs. Don't say that, but in my opinion, it's been incompetently run for decades. Since I was in high school, since after the SMU thing in, what was that, 80, 81, the whole death penalty, that was stupid. That never should have happened to SMU. There were so many schools doing that at the exact same time. Just happened to be they did. They punished a small secular religious institution because they wanted to win a national championship or two. Since, what was that? I was 10 or 11. I thought that the NCAA is broken. They changed rules. The other thing is, and I'm jaded, but they changed rules around BYU for decades as well. So I'm sorry, Charlie Baker. Not a fan. You do you, brother. But in my opinion, I think it'd be better if we just, again, conundrum, just let's just redo it. Let's start over. We've got the technology. We can build the $6 million man, right? That's an old school reference that probably not most of you are going to get. Okay. Let's see here if there's anything else. Oh, I created that. This is pretty cool, actually. I'm pretty proud of this. What do you guys think of this? I created this in, what was it? Grok, I think. I made that months ago. I'm sorry. I'm just laughing. Let's see. Yes. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, Charlie Clown. Yeah. So do you guys have any questions? I'm here. I said I was going to be here for an hour. I will read your comments. If you guys have stuff you want me to talk about on the air, we've got enough of you watching, I think. This is kind of fun. I don't do this open mic very often. I don't have time to take calls today. I would love to. I love to do that, but I can't do that tonight. So nobody else has any questions? If not, I mean, I can always turn the lamp out early too. If you guys don't need me around here. I'm here for you. Always have been and always will be. The interviews is actually why I'm here. I love the interviews, regardless if they go, super smooth like it did this morning with Cody Campbell, or they go kind of stilted because I catch people off guard. I don't mean to do that. It's not on purpose, by the way. And I apologize to John. That's not what I was trying to do. I was just trying to engage because I knew my opinion is not the same as other people. Yeah. All right. There's nothing else. You guys are just quiet tonight. I'm kind of surprised. Usually you come in fired up. Moen has, I don't know if he's pushed it out already, members video. If you are a member of the College Football Mafia family, member video, I believe, releases tonight. Moen will put it out. And I can't even remember what the topic is, because I am dumb and didn't preview set it up. Let me just check here what the name of the show is, because it's more, is it realignment stuff? I'll make sure I get this right since I'm here. Moen, is that it? Yep, for 6 p.m. So in 12 minutes, member video will come out. What would a best of the Big Ten SEC conference look like? Oh, shoot. That is one other thing I wanted to get to. Thank you so much, Moen. You did it, and you weren't even here. Let me see. Where in the heck? No, go away. I don't want that. There's one more on here. By the way, did you guys, who's here a fan of Bridge over the River of Kwai? Did you guys know that was a real bridge and a real train? I just found that out. Shoot. Did I not mark it? Well, I can't bring it up if I don't have the link. Damn it. I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't bookmark it for some stupid reason. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. It was some brilliant thing that probably was only important to me. Caden the Diesel Freak coming in off the top rope. Last minute. Good to see you, Caden. $5 super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Caden. Go Ohio State and go BYU. Let's go. I'm ready for the Texas Tech versus Cougars in a physical football game and see who's the number one team in the Big 12. If you are not going to watch this BYU Texas Tech game, you are not a fan of college football. I know there's a lot of viewers in here, Big Ten viewers, some ACC, maybe even a couple SEC. Everybody should watch this Big 12 BYU game versus Texas Tech at Texas Tech. It could really, really be good. It also could be not good, but that's not what I'm expecting. Thank you, Caden. I appreciate the $5 super chat, and I appreciate knowing that you're going to be watching the game. That means a lot to me. It is the early game on ABC. If you are a, what is it, YouTube TV, YTTV? If you're a YouTube TV subscriber, go out and buy an antenna, like a digital antenna. Unless you live like, I don't know, unless you're in, well, I don't want to call anybody out. Anywhere in Utah, almost, I think you can get digital channels, and you get like 48 of them. So I don't know why everybody doesn't have one of those in emergency. I think we've all become slaves to the internet, I think is what's happened. But definitely, if you haven't seen it, because YouTube TV, just go to Walmart. They have digital antennas. They screw it into that little cable jack, and dang, you'll have channels you didn't even know you had access to, and you won't have to pay anything for them except for what you paid, for the antenna anyway. Let's see. Are there any other comments? Oh, Daniel says Moen put it out this morning. Well, that's not okay. All right. That's not. I'm not. I must not. I just went to the. It says scheduled for 6 p.m. Daniel, I don't know. Maybe I'm reading that wrong. It says upcoming. I just turned on the YouTube page, so maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. Anything else? Sean says you get CBS, Fox, NBC, ABC on YouTube still. I heard ABC wasn't on YouTube. I don't know. I don't have YouTube TV, so I don't know. But I heard all the ESPN, ABC networks were blocked. So that's great. If that's true, that's fantastic. A lot of people will be watching the games. First game of the day on Saturday. Video is about Utah, Berkeley, Stanford, and Arizona State's market survey for the Big Ten. All right, whatever. Yeah, I don't have the energy for a fight tonight about realignment. I love realignment, but it just wears me out because people keep saying the same thing over again, and it's I mean, it's confirmation bias, just in a circle. Caden says, please make sure this game is not for the women and children because it's going to get physical and violent between two powerhouse college football teams. Caden, I love Caden. Thank you so much, Caden. If you want to, Daniel, go ahead and put the link there. That'd be great. Nobody else has any questions. I mean, this is pretty remarkable. By the way, I didn't say this was Sean who said this. Thank you, Sean, for putting that comment there. Nobody else has any questions? No news? Come on, I can't be the only one that's watching social media for news. And there's been some big ones this week. Just in the last few days, even. Maybe the biggest news of all is that they used a real train and a real bridge in Bridge over the River Kwai. Okay, I'm going to call it good. You guys don't need me, and that's okay. I'm totally comfortable with that. Conundrum says, Indiana at Penn State, must-see TV. Man, the world's a different place. And then Daniel put the link like you said he was going to. I appreciate everybody for being here. This has been a busy week. We have another show tomorrow night, Big Freaking Friday. Also, again, I'm going to promo. We do have this Cody Campbell interview. And it was slick, easy to listen to, and lots of good quotes. You'll learn some stuff. So, Glenn Hanna, it's good to see you, Glenn. Thumbs up. I appreciate you. Good luck at Iowa. Man, Oregon and Iowa, that could, boy. College football is the best, honestly, isn't it? Isn't that why we're all here? A bunch of degenerates on YouTube because college football is like the best thing ever. Yeah. I still like Liverpool and Seattle, but anyway. I want you guys to have a great night. Thank you, Caden. Go BYU. I want everybody to have a great night. Again, look for that. Go click on that link. Members video. Again, more realignment for the Big Ten numbers. Moen's doing his research, and that's a members only video. I would encourage all the members to go watch that. Look for the Cody Campbell dribs and drabs to come out. And then meet us tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, where we'll do our picks for the weekend. And we will, I think, well, I'm only there for an hour, but I think they're going to do a tier maker. Whether I'm here or not, I'm not sure. Mute's going to do a tier maker, and those are fantastic. If you've never seen one, those exercises are fun. So I encourage everybody to stick around for that. Everybody have a great and safe weekend. Stay out of trouble. Again, if you're watching right now on X or YouTube, on X, open up another page on YouTube on your phone and go to College Football Mafia. Hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate everybody who continues to subscribe. Our numbers subscribe continue to go up and up, and that's because of the dedication that you guys give us. We're trying to do everything we can to meet your expectations. So please let us know. Leave us comments, questions. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube. That'd be fantastic. And again, subscribe if you're a new viewer, and then follow us on Twitter. That's the other thing. Doing lots of work around here. I appreciate every one of you. Have a great weekend. If I don't see you on Friday, and I'm going to say, go Cougs. Peace.